Kaufman is a live YouTube channel. I look at comic books new and old. Today I'm looking at all the new comic books I got at the comic book shop this week. And man, it was a bigger week than I kind of expected it to be going into it for sure. Um, so I'll get into the DC comics I got first because I was able to get the all-in special that came out a couple weeks ago that I was not able to pick up because it sold out so fast and I didn't get it on my pull list. And the clerks at the shop that I go to, Comic Carnival, they were nice enough to give me one of each of these cards because I didn't get a Batman card when I got my Absolute Batman comic book last week. I got a Superman card, so I asked for Batman. They just gave me one of each, which was pretty cool. These cards have like a little bit of stats on them, like power levels of the heroes here, where they're from, their access level. They all have universal access. Superman's got a power level of 100, Batman's got 75, and Wonder Woman is 95. So, cool little additions. I like these little cards, nice little collector's items. But I was able to get this DC All-In Special. Finally, I already did the review of Absolute Batman. I really enjoyed that book a lot. So, interested to see what is going on here and, why there is this new split universe within DC. Because in the Absolute Power miniseries, we really didn't get any of that. It was all just kind of set up to the return of the Justice League, which it looks like we have here. They're calling it Justice League Unlimited now. This kind of reminds me of like Legion of Superheroes for sure. But this is going to be a new title coming out by DC, the Justice League Unlimited. And it's by the team that's doing World's Finest right now. So you got Mark Waid writing and Dan Mora on artwork. Here's an ad for it right here as I'm talking about it. There's a whole bunch of people on this book. We got Joshua Williamson and Scott Snyder writing, so some pretty good writers here. Daniel Sampere is the artist. Dan Mora is on the center spread, it says. Alejandro Sanchez does the colors here. Steve Wands is on letters. Tamara Bonvillain does the center spread colors on the Dan Mora piece. So, and from what I understand, there's like two stories here in this book. Yeah, looks like that's pretty cool how they're doing that. The pages are ripping. We're getting the story told from another perspective probably here. Got the Darkseid finally showing up. I haven't flipped through any of these comic books yet. Like I said, I just got back from the comic book store and picked these up, so I'm interested to see what's inside of them, just like you. So we're getting to see them for the first time together here. They got a list of all the all-in books there. This is the Dan Mora center spread. Yeah, and then the comic book flips around and it's being told from the opposite perspective here. That first story is called Alpha. This one's called Omega. So we got Wes Craig on the artwork here. Mike Spicer's on colors. Steve Wands is on the letters here. So totally different art style, kind of signifying this absolute universe. Looks really good. Can't wait to read this. I'll definitely be making a review of this comic pretty soon. And I was able to get this foil cover. My shop only got a couple more copies in this week. As like I said, they sold out when this first came out. All they had left was this one foil cover left, and I was able to pick it up. So that's pretty cool. I got Titans number 16 here. John Layman is the writer. Pete Woods is the artist. It's kind of a, I don't know if it's a fill-in team or the new ongoing team for this book. But I like John Layman's work on some of the Spawn series that he's been doing. So this artwork looks pretty good off the bat here. I've picked up every issue of Titans so far. I'm really glad that we've got this new direction in this book, because I feel like the last storyline just went on way too long. So, we got Raven. She was the main kind of antagonist of the last story arc, and it was all about Trigon and the Dark-Winged Queen trying to take over the whole entire universe, as supervillains always do. Looks like we've got Clock King showing up here. Here's an AEW wrestling ad here for Will Ospreay, which is really interesting to see. I watch AEW wrestling, and I've noticed that they've been plugging DC Comics on the wrestling show. And here we've got some cross-promotion as they're promoting the wrestling in the comic book with some comic book art showing off the wrestlers, which is pretty cool stuff. They're doing some cross-promotion since they're all owned by WBD. So just really unique for, I feel like, the comic books to actually be promoted outside of the comic books themselves. You just don't see promotion of comic books anywhere. So we even get a little comic book, and here's a whole look at all the wrestlers here. You've got Orange Cassidy, there's Britt Baker, Darby Allin, Swerve Strickland, Tony Storm. So that's pretty cool. I like that they're doing the cross promotion for sure. So now we'll get into the Image comics I got here. This is another John Layman written book. Spawn Kills Every Spawn #3. I've picked up issues 1 and 2 of this. The artist is Rob Sketchcraft Dunas. And I've done reviews of this comic book, issues 1 and 2, on my channel, so go check those out. It's a really fun series, kind of a throwback. It's tongue-in-cheek, just making fun of Spawn and comic books, the whole genre. Really good stuff, though. Really reminds me of Scud the Disposable Assassin. So in the last issue, this little mini Spawn, he was trying to put together his own Spawn force to try and kill every Spawn, as the title suggests. And I'm sure things don't go according to plan, because this little guy just can't get anything right. But he's got Robo Spawn here. Spawn's former. So I really like this book. The artwork in here is really awesome. Just filling up the whole page here. I highly recommend this book if you have not been reading it. The other Image book I got was a Spawn title here, Violator #2 of 6. This is the Violator Origin miniseries. Got Marco Andreyko is on the art. Kyle Holtz, or is on the plot and the script, I'm sorry. And we got Kyle Holtz on art here. Dan Brown is on colors. The first issue was really awesome. The artwork was incredible. And right away I can say this looks pretty awesome too. So I had no idea if there was going to be new artists or new writers or what the deal was with this title. But it looks like we might have a new artist on each book, which is kind of cool. I kind of wonder what their direction was given by Todd McFarlane on this, as far as the artwork goes from book to book. And if he's like curating like some really awesome artists for this title, because I really liked Piotr Kowalski was the artist on the first issue. It was awesome. And this looks really cool too. So Again, it's like an origin of Violator, how he came to be. In the first issue, we saw him become the first Spawn, which didn't quite work out too well for him. And he kind of got banished, kind of being like the first demon banished to hell, basically. So, and he became this demonic Violator creature. So, definitely be reviewing this. Then we got Local Man number 25 here, which is interesting because I think the last issue of Local Man was issue number 13. So this is kind of a peek ahead into a year later is how they're promoting this comic, which is, it's like a throwback to the Image comics of old when they would do things like this, where it's like, we'll show you something going on in the future. He's dedicating this to Rob, Todd, Jim, Mark, Jim, Eric, and Wills, the original Image founders there. So yeah, this is a really great book. It's an award-winning book. Tim Seeley and Tony Fleeks are on this. They're also doing the Wolverine Venom War miniseries over at Marvel, which I just did a review of the other day. But this has been a really awesome comic book. It's kind of set in the Image superhero universe, so you get a lot of cameos from people like Shadowhawk or Wildstar or Gen 13 or something. So, and they always have like double stories here. There's a backup story told in like the old Image universe here. And they always tie into what's going on in the main story too. So you always have pinups like they used to have back in the old Image books here. This one's by Brian Denham. Pretty awesome stuff here on Local Man number 25. Then I got this Moon Knight Fist of Konshu foil variant. This is the new ongoing Moon Knight series by Jed MacKay and Alessandro Cappuccio. Pretty awesome looking foil variant cover here. I couldn't pass up the foil. I love that they're doing foils again. They're not too bad a price either. They're not like $20 or anything. This was only $6.99. So I'm going to do a review of this later. I'm going to save it to open it up. Then we got X-Men comic books I got today. We got the second issue of Wolverine here. I got the Marvel Comics Presents variant cover. I like the kind of meta aspect here of it. He's reading Storm #1, which is pretty cool. It's the this is the Carlos Gomez Jesus Abertov cover. So really like the first issue of this. Wolverine's one of my favorite characters for sure. I did a review of that first issue. He was going one-on-one with his old enemy Cyber, and in this issue it looks like he's going up against Wendigo. So really nice artwork. I really like the story in the last issue. So I like Wolverine if he's like getting like a villain of the month type of thing going on here against some of his greatest villains in this series to start off with. I'm all for that. We got X-Men number 4 here. I got the main cover. There was a Gambit variant cover that I did really like. Gambit's one of my favorite X-Men next to Wolverine. And but I just love that this is a cover that's actually showing us what's happening in the comic book. I feel like that's kind of rare these days for any Marvel comic. So this is Legacy number 704 of the Uncanny X-Men. And we got this this Sarah Gaunt character is this woman here, and she's got some history with Xavier, but now she's hunting the X-Men. So, oh man, we're not really sure what her deal is. There's some Red Band approved art right there. This is not a Red Band comic, I might add. But I've really liked both X-Men books so far. I love that they both got kind of an episodic feel to them, and they're just fun. I feel like they're a lot more fun than the some of the Krakoa era books. So We've got Rogue. She's the main character of this series for sure. She kind of does the narration. Gail Simone's the writer. I kind of wonder if she's like talking through Rogue in a way here. We got David Marquez on the artwork here. He's certainly got a bit of a anime style influence, a manga style influence with his artwork on this book, I feel like. So X-Men number 4. Then we got final comic book I got today. I got the Ultimate Spider-Man number 10 here. This is Jonathan Hickman, and David Messina is the guest artist here, he's the fill-in artist on this book. I think Marco Cicchetto is the main artist generally, but again, this book goes month to month, so we're in October here, along with the characters. I've done reviews of every issue of this book so far. Enjoyed it a lot. It's moving a bit slow for sure. I think all the Ultimate books are, but they're setting the stage for a lot of stuff. They're introducing us to new versions of all these characters. We got Ben Parker here, who's still alive in this universe while May is dead. And he's working with Jonah Jameson on the new paper. It looks like this whole issue is a lot of talk about this new paper, so probably a lot of intrigue. Oh no, I got my staple broke again. This is the second week in a row I've had a Marvel comic where the staple came out. Hey Marvel, come on man, get your stuff together here. This is a $4.99 book, so that's not too cool. But this whole book here looks like character-driven stuff. I haven't even seen Spider-Man once, so definitely have to see what's going on here. I feel like the David Messina fill-in issues are all kind of like this, too, where there's not a lot of Spider-Man. We're getting a lot of these 9-panel spreads, so hopefully Hickman's got a good story to go on here. I might have to find a variant cover of this or something so I can get a good copy, but oh well, it's not that big a deal. Thanks for watching the video, though. If you made it this far, please subscribe if you haven't yet. And I'll see you guys on the next one.